Johnny. So some of you might have seen this photo this morning. So this is me and my family. So I'm married to Johnny, and we have 4 kids together. So we have Abby, she's 13. Eli, who's giving you a thumbs up, he's 11. Nathan in the orange t-shirt, he's 7. And Josiah, our youngest, the troublemaker, he's 4. So thanks very much for having me today. And I just tried to kind of structure my kind of report around this, the theme of the Conference of Partnerships in the Gospel. So first of all, who do we partner with? Well, Johnny kind of alluded a little bit to this this morning. We had a desire to serve God in some kind of way. We have practical skills. I'm a teacher and he's a joiner, and we weren't really sure how he was going to use them. But we approached our church, and our home church is Greenview Church, and they were very supportive to us. And then a few years on, we were approached by Moshe Christian Children's Centre. They had an opportunity, a vision to start a kindergarten, and there'd be building works involved with that, and they were looking for somebody to do some teacher training with the Tanzanian teachers there. And so at that point, our church put us in touch with Echoes. Echoes were known to us, but they kind of started that partnership between us and them. And the partnership basically kind of looks a bit like these 3 main headings I've tried to put them into. So training, pastoral care and discipleship, and also, I couldn't think of another word, but sort of personal ministry. So Johnny mentioned this morning as well a kind of quote from an article that Matthew Pitts wrote in Echoes, and it talks about Christian collaboration is how the Lord gets the job done, and that's definitely how we feel. We've collaborated. We haven't gone out to begin something new. We've gone out to collaborate with an already existing organisation. We're trying to work with and support the staff there on the ground, so that basically, if and when we have to leave, it doesn't all hopefully fall around our ears when we do that. And our idea is to sort of almost kind of work ourselves backwards out of a job and try to be able to pass it on. And that's kind of our vision for what we wanted to be able to do, and that's how we've gone out. So involved in that was some training. So as we were starting to think about these things, Johnny felt that he wanted to do some training himself. He went to GLOW, and he did the first 2 years of studies at not GLOW, Tilsley College, and that really helped him and to get an idea. He did a few things with brass tacks as well, but when he was on the brass tacks teams, he was kind of, I guess, just his eyes were opened that he couldn't just go and do building work, but he felt like when you were going there, the building work was almost secondary to the discipleship and the coming alongside the people who were out there at the centre, and so he wanted to equip himself for that. As we were waiting on our visas, it was a long process to get our visas, we were also encouraged by friends to go to a Mission and Me event, and that was great. It was really helpful to meet with other people who were interested in mission, we were with Heidi and Derek Malcolm for that, and they were able to share with us what it's like. And I was just talking with Derek at lunchtime there and just saying that whole experience was really helpful, because in some ways just being aware of a culture difference was really, really helpful, and that just kind of prepared your minds for kind of going out. So there's some training and things that happened for us, and we were kind of poured into in that way before we went out on to the field. So it's not just a case of we were ready to go, or it was all about the training that we could offer, but also people were partnering with us before we headed out there. Echoes have just been a great help as well in preparing us practically and also on the ground as we've been doing different things, and they're just always there on the other end of a phone if we ever need to speak to somebody, and it's really nice to know that you have that partnership, that you have that support just at hand. And the same again with our home church as well. We have some great relationships with our elders there, and Johnny said this morning one of our elders brought his family out to visit us, and it's just really encouraging to have that support. Here we go. So another part of the training aspect, there was the kind of expected side and the unexpected side for me. So we'd done all of this prep to go, and then I was expecting to train teachers, which is my main role. That's what I went to do. But then as I've been out there, God has opened up opportunities and doors for me to get involved in things that I wasn't expecting to do. One of the big things has been more involvement with the Children's Centre. So the Children's Centre has been there for more than 50 years. The kindergarten is fairly new. We're going into year 5. And so it's a newer vision that the trustees had, and that Christine Reid was able to first establish. And she talks about handing over the baton to me, and I was like the next. But she's always there as a support. So I expected to be involved in the kindergarten, and then I've had these unexpected opportunities to be more involved at the Children's Centre as well, and just kind of partnering in that with working with the caregivers and also the management team. There's a real family ethos at the Children's Centre, and we're an institution, but the main vision and the aim of the people there is to bring up the kids who live there within a Christian family, if you will. That is something that we all share in the staff that are there. So my main role is Little Counters Kindergarten, which is a bit of a mouthful, so I may well just abbreviate it to LCK. So I work with 4 members of staff there. So this is Happy, who's also on our management team, and she has a social work degree as well as being able to teach. This is Stella, this is Karen, and this is Mama Jackson. So Happy, Stella and Karen are my teachers. Mama Jackson just keeps us all going. She just does almost everything. She's doing snack preparation. She's supervising children on the bus. She's helping, making sure all the rooms are clean and things for us. She has endless energy. So I partner with these guys, and these guys come along on the journey with me as we try to just create a real atmosphere of building a school based on Christian morals and ethics, and it's just such a joy and a privilege because it's not something I would have had the opportunity necessarily in my usual teaching job in Scotland. So, like I said, Christine Reid, she started the kindergarten, so there was some things that I that she put really great foundations in place for me to sort of continue on with, and then other things I've been able to further develop. So, like I said, it's grounded in Christian values and practices. She created a great positive learning environment, and also a big thing that she was really focusing on her training when she was there was planning for the children rather than the curriculum, so taking account of the kids who were in front of us. And then I've been able to further develop a few other things, which I'll come back to. So this is just some photographs of the kindergarten that you can see there. So each morning we have assembly, we have morning prayers, we have kind of afternoon prayers, we have prayers, we pray before we eat. They have an assembly time where we learn stories and we sing songs and we do memory verses. And that was just already established, which was a great foundation. And it was just, it's just lovely to be able to have that as part of school life, which was great. And I was able to take that what was already there and build upon that. And when I arrived, some of the things that I was having to do was to kind of put a lot of the good practice down on paper. So lots of policy writing, which sounds very boring, but it was the right time to kind of do that. And so every school has like a vision or a motto or something. So we have 4 words: love, respect, honesty, and responsibility. And these are our sort of key values, really, and we're trying to use this language around the kids. Now, lots of schools all over the world will have these things, but we teach it coming from the point of view from Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 to 27, where it talks about the wise and the foolish builder. So, yes, we're trying to instill these great qualities in the children, and we, at the end of the week, if someone has been showing great respect, and they can have a wee certificate and we can celebrate them. But also we say to the kids as well, do you know what, see if you've had not such a great week, that's okay. Like, you can come in the next day or come in the next week. You can ask for forgiveness. We will all work together, and we're building on the rock. So we're building on something that's solid. We're building on a good foundation, and we're learning all about Jesus and who he is, and he is our rock. And so we can come at it with that extra element and being able to bring in, just good Bible teaching into these simple things that are just behaviour management, but we're able to just have it go through everything that we do. On this side here, you'll see that these are some of the materials that we use for assembly and storytelling. We teach in both Swahili, which is the national language, and also English. And there's lots of schools that do that. It's really important for us to have both languages going almost in tandem together, but it can be quite tricky to find literature in Swahili, and particularly picture books for children as well, so that's why the majority of the ones you see there are in English, but there are some that are available in Swahili. And I actually just found a few months ago a bookshop in town. Very excited to be able to buy the Easter story in a picture book form with good pictures in Swahili, which was great because we will be able to use that as we go into Easter week, and we're really looking forward to doing that. So coming back to the sort of further development things, I talked a little bit about our building blocks, our behaviour management kind of strategy, and the other kind of three main areas that I've been able to sort of kind of introduce and push forward are maths and phonics programs, outdoor learning and real life context learning, and also interdisciplinary learning as well. And I think the next one, we've got a little video just to give you a flavour of kind of what goes on in the classroom. So that's just a little flavour of some of the things that that we get up to at kindergarten. So you saw some things here and some of the math things and some of the outdoor things that we've been up to, and like the cooking that we're doing and the gardening and all these kind of real life experiences. The last little area that I have there is interdisciplinary learning, which is just a fancy way of saying lots of subjects taught with a common theme or through a particular topic. So, like all children across the world, the children at LCK love books, and this is just some pictures of how I've found kids looking through books, whether in the ball pit or just relaxing on the grass or chatting with friends. So they love stories, and one of the big things that we've been doing is learning through through a story, and trying to bring in some maths or lots of different subject areas through one particular story. And I just mention this because it's just such a joy for me to be able to do that planning and to pass on the training that I've had, but also to bring in the Christian element as well, which I wouldn't necessarily be able to do when I've been working in Scottish schools, or I would be able to do, but I wouldn't maybe be able to give my opinion about it. I could present it as this is what Christians believe rather than presenting it as truth, and there's just such a freedom in that, which is great. And so to be able to, all picture, even kind of secular stories have a moral to them generally, children's books, and so it's nice to be able to then take it one step further and actually say, what does the Bible teach us about these kinds of things? I'll just give you a really short example. There's a book, some of you may know it, called Giraffes Can't Dance, and essentially poor Gerald the giraffe gets made fun of because he can't dance. And so the moral of the story is, we should include everyone and we shouldn't laugh at anyone, and that's great. But we can then also look at Bible stories. We can look at the life of Jesus. We can look at Jesus and how he went to marginalised people. He went to people who other people were whispering behind his back, going, why is he hanging out with those people? He didn't come to, he came for everyone, that his love is for everyone. And so to be able to bring those elements into, not just your assembly time, but also into the classroom, and it's just such a joy to be able to do. And it's just, it's a real privilege to be able to partner with my teachers to help them to plan that, and to then see them get excited about it in the classroom as well, which is really nice. I have a few other pictures to show you. So the kids love being creative. It's another thing that was already kind of there as I arrived, the idea, Tanzanian culture, there's paintings and people who are dressmaking and sporting a dress today that somebody has made for me, and there's so much creativity in Tanzania, but doesn't always get explored in school, and it was something that Christine really introduced when she first got there. And so to be able to let the kids have that time to be creative, to kind of problem solve and to think through things for themselves is really great. And all of these different aspects to school, a lot of Tanzanian school is rote learning, and there can be a place for that, but all you then are doing is you're exercising your memory. Can you remember things? But by letting the children explore things, not just at kindergarten, but also at the children's centre, to help them understand processes, to question things, to analyse, to create, we're kind of pushing them beyond the memorisation. And it was just talking with Jackie the other day and Johnny, and we were talking about how that can also then lead into their own faith. They're not just memorising things, but they're then able to exercise their understanding of things. They can analyse things, they can discuss things, because you want young people and children to work these things out for themselves. They have a response to make to the gospel, and so exercising all these kind of thinking skills is really, really important. So the outdoors, that's Johnny kind of mentioned it, that's been a bit of my baby since I got out there, was to create an outdoor classroom. And this is just phase 1. There's 3 phases. So it's taken a while to get phase 1, but we keep going. And it's just really exciting to see the kids explore it, work together. Sometimes they're working on their own, side by side. Sometimes they're working together. Sometimes they're just hanging about outside and chatting together, and it's just really nice to see them developing friendships. And even in just this one area, Johnny and I have been involved in training. The area is being created, but we've also been involved in training the staff. So Johnny's training the staff who have helped to build it, and coming alongside them and supporting them to create this area. But then there's also the teachers and how to use it and to plan it. And then there's also the centre caregivers as well, and bringing the kids over from the centre and being able to use it as well. So it's one area, but it's kind of connected all of us together, which has been really nice to see. So another big part of what I do is kind of comes under the heading discipleship and pastoral care. So again, there was a bit of an unexpected side to this for me. I was expecting to be working obviously with my teachers in kindergarten, but then again, God's opened up the opportunity for me to contribute to more of the centre side of things. So building up relationships with my teachers, not just so that they feel that they can come to me with professional problems, but also with personal things. We have shared many tears in my office, and we have prayed over things, and they have let me into their lives. And I have been humbled by their trust in me and their humility to come to me and to ask me for these things, and also in the way that God has provided wisdom for these moments that I've been able to just, be, most of my staff are quite a bit younger, so a bit of an older sister or motherly type figure for them, and so that has been, definitely wouldn't have said I would necessarily felt equipped going to do that, but God has equipped me almost in the moment to be able to approach that opportunity and just kind of say, okay, it's here. I'll come with you, God. Like, where are you going to take me on this? So that's been really good. And then also being able to be involved in the management team side of things with the Children's Centre, and helping to kind of establish that Christian family atmosphere that the team really has this vision for, and the trustees really have the vision for at the centre. One of our things is really to, this is, Johnny spoke about the Vijana, which means young people. So one of our big focuses for this year really is to input into these young people. And again, in a similar kind of way, we don't want them just to remember, it's great for them to remember the songs and remember the memory verses and on all of these things that they are getting each day, but we also want them to understand it. We want them, when they go through our gates, for probably not the last time, because everyone comes back to visit, but when they go through into the big bad world, that they have an understanding of what the gospel is, and that they know that they have a response to make. And obviously our ultimate prayer is that we are sending out young men and women of faith to then partner with us out there in Tanzania and go out and share and witness to their friends and in their workplaces. But we just really have this vision for a kind of discipleship that we want to do with them and come alongside them. And it's not just Johnny and I have talked about it for a while, but as a management team, we can't do it without them. We need to all be on this together, and so our vision is definitely to go and to be one and to go on this journey together. So the last little bit is just, I kind of called it personal ministry. I would be doing this whether I was in Scotland or Tanzania or wherever. There's just so many encouraging things that have happened that I just wanted to share. So again, there's been a sort of expected side and an unexpected side. There's a bit of a theme going here. So I was expecting to build new friendships, and I was really hoping that we would find a fellowship, a church that we could go to. The Children's Centre isn't affiliated with any one church, so when we went out there, we were faced with finding a church for our family to go to, and we have found one, and they have a really good fellowship, and we have really been encouraged by the people who are there. There's also quite a big missionary community as well, and that's really nice to be able to chat to other missionaries about all the different things that we're up to. And then over time, I've kind of built up friendships with lots of different people from lots of different kind of backgrounds. Some through, I was going to kind of toddlers group with Josiah. When we first went out, he was 18 months. I was going along to that, so meeting mums at the school gate, because my kids go to school, and doing all of that and stuff, and having friendships in lots of different areas. I also was part of Sunday school back in Greenview. I'm a teacher, so it kind of falls to reason that would be something that I would probably get involved in, and I was thinking in whichever church we end up in that hopefully I could be involved in that, and so I am now involved in the Sunday school at the church that we attend. But something that caught me off guard a little bit was a weekly Bible study opportunity that came up. So I was talking to a friend who I'd been friends with for maybe a little over a year at this toddler group, and she started asking me questions. Lynsey, you're a Christian, aren't you? Yes, I am. How do you teach your kids about the Bible? And I was like, what do you mean? And we just got into this conversation, like, what do you do? And she's got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and all the, how do you go about that? And she'd had church experience, but she wasn't going anywhere regularly. And so just kind of describing things that I would have done with the kids when they were younger, and then, looking at Abby and Eli as they start getting into, the teenage years, like the differences and the different things. And I think I mentioned Bible study, and she said, I'd really love to study the Bible. And I was like, okay, do you want to study the Bible together? She was like, yes, let's do that. Okay. And then she's like, let's invite my other friend. I was like, okay. And there's now other people who've joined us, and we now meet weekly on a Thursday morning at a local cafe. We're currently doing a book called Life with Jesus, and by Tim Chester, I think it is. And it's opened up some really great conversations just about, Christianity's not just a Sunday thing. Like, how do you take Jesus with you in all your life? I wasn't expecting it. I have been part of helping to lead small groups before, but it wasn't necessarily something I was seeking. But God just definitely gave me that opportunity just right there and said, here's a friend, and she'd like to study the Bible with you. So that was just really encouraging, and it's just lovely to have these conversations with friends. And like I say, I could be doing that anywhere, but it's another kind of encouraging way that I can just see how God is really working in my life, and almost equipping. He was training me before, but he's equipping me in the moment as well for all the things that he has in store for me. And again, that would be true whether I was here or in Tanzania. But I feel like it's just like an encouraging thing to bring up. So the last little bit, like, how can you partner with us? So individually, as a group or a fellowship, biggest thing for sure is prayer. And I think it's been mentioned already this morning, there have been many times when we have had tough times and we have felt upheld in prayer, like in tandem, happening at the same time. This is a very stressful, exhausting situation that we're going through, and yet there's just a peace about it, and it's unexplainable. It can only be explained by the peace that God gives that passes all understanding. And we know that we have friends here who know us well, who are praying for us, but we also know that there's people who are praying for us who we've never met before, and we're just so thankful for that. So if you have prayed for us before, thank you so much, and please continue to do so, because we so appreciate it. Ways that you can find out about us, you'll find us in the Echoes magazine. Johnny has written a couple of articles before. You'll see us on the website, and then we've got a social media presence, which is not my forte, but I seem to be kind of in charge of it. So we had a Facebook for the centre, and it's kind of got a bit muddled and things. So we're going to recalibrate that, and it is coming soon. But that will be mostly for the Children's Centre. We have an Instagram page. I've never been an Instagrammer, but I am now for the LCK. It's mostly we use it as an advertising tool and to communicate with parents. But if you want to find us, if you're on Instagram, you could most welcome to follow us. We as a family, we have a blog, and that is, you can find us there, and you can sign up to receive email alerts every time we write a new blog. So we tend to write maybe some longer ones, maybe 3 times a year, but I've also started something that's monthly. It's called Coffee and Catch Up. It's designed that you can enjoy it over a cup of coffee. It doesn't take too long. It's just a snapshot of the centre, of the kindergarten, of the McKinnons, us, and some prayer points and praise points. And we try to do that every month. And then lastly, just by email, that's my email address and Johnny's. Feel free to drop us an email just to get in touch, to ask some questions. If, for any reason, we're always happy to share with anyone about things that are going on. So I thought I would just finish with some praise and prayer points, and even if you can just take one of these away in your minds this afternoon, that would be great. So points for praise, for the opportunity for me to use and develop my skills. Like, I definitely feel like I'm developing as a teacher. This is not just me going and outpouring out there. I'm definitely in training myself almost there. Praise that God He's working in my life. I can definitely feel that He is growing me and my faith stronger each day. The opportunity to share the gospel freely at LCK, that's just such a blessing. And it's just so freeing having known the kind of other side where you can feel a bit restricted. For the provision of good and reliable staff, there's a typo in there, good and reliable staff, my staff that I have at LCK, Happy, Stella, Karen and Mama Jackson, they are amazing because they come along with me. Like the things that sometimes might seem crazy to do, they're quite happy to just jump on with me and to go with me, and they definitely partner up with me, and I'm so thankful for that. And just the provision for MCCC in general, the way that God has provided staff or visitors, partnerships with First Serve and Glow, financially, everything. It is such a special place. And then some prayer points for God to keep working in and through me, and that I would continue to rely on him for all things, which is a huge prayer point, but I really would value the prayers for that. For more families to come and join us at kindergarten. We also see it as a bit of an outreach. We have events where we have the families come as well. We have graduation, we have Christmas, we have Easter, and we have different events on. And so it's not just the kids that we're seeing, but we're also seeing the families and welcoming them in and sharing a message with them whilst they're with us. Prayer for this discipleship of our Vijana, the young people, that would be something that you really bring fruit from. And that God will maintain the joyful Christian ethos of the centre. It's something that I know that when I first visited the centre, and a lot of people when they come and visit, there seems to just be a joy. And actually, being part of the management team has opened my eyes to some of the really hard stories that these kids have, and the staff. Life can be really hard in Tanzania for national people, and yet you come through those gates, and even if there's some gripes between certain workers or the kids aren't getting on, there is just a joy in the centre, and it can only be attributed to the fact that God is upholding it and has placed his hand upon it and is blessing it and protecting it. And so just prayer that would continue to happen. And so that's everything I have. Thank you.